Good morning, everybody. We're here this morning to listen to an application for a variation of a premises licence for Super Pizza, 6 Bachelor Street, Chatham. I'm just going to check if you've all got the papers for this morning, because there is a guideline for licensing hearings, just to make sure that you've got that. They're not numbered, so I can't tell you. It's about the 3rd page in. It basically guides how we will run the meeting this morning. So having said that, I will ask my colleagues, starting this way, to go round, and if you could all identify yourselves.
Councillor Dewey.
Ian Gilmore, Head of Regulatory and Environmental Services.
Kelly Payne, Environmental Protection Officer.
Yep, PC Dan Hunt from Kent Police Licensing.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Katie Honeywood, Licensing Assistant.
Lisa Hobson.
Thank you, Chris.
John Pitt, Democratic Services Officer.
Councillor Turpin.
Diane Chambers. So I'm going to ask the licensing officer, I think it's Katie Honeywood, to outline exactly what's being applied for. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning. On the 16th of February 2023, we received a full variation application for Super Pizza, 6 Bachelor Street, Chatham. During the consultation period, the Planning Department have confirmed that no planning application has been made to increase the hours. We received a representation on the 20th of March 2023 from Environmental Protection relating to the public nuisance licensing objective, and we received a representation on the 21st of March 2023 from the police relating to the prevention of crime and disorder and the prevention of public nuisance. No agreement has been reached. Therefore, this application has now come to a hearing for the licensing panel to make a decision on the outcome of the application. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Fine, now we come to you, and I believe you're going to present the case. So if you'd like to do so.
Anyway, good morning, and thank you for this opportunity to defend our application. Mr. Mohabet has been operating Super Pizza since 2016, and it's based mainly delivery services alone. He has about 3 employees in the kitchen with him as 4, and then 3 delivery drivers, and then 1 part-time one, which comes on the Mondays to Fridays. Ever since he started operating, he has seen the population of Chatham grown, but has not really impacted his business because of competition from a pub opposite, McDonald's, Burger King, Subway, and Kitchen Cottage. All said and done, he hasn't seen any disturbances or nuisances around where he operates, because at the end of the day, Bachelor Street is a very quiet street. And since most of his businesses is just delivery, he sees that it would be better for him to actually increase his hours of operation. And after working hours, most of his customers call, say from Sundays to Thursdays, he finishes at 1, and from Fridays to Saturday, he finishes at 2. But it's after these hours that he gets lots of calls about delivery. So he made the decision to actually apply for a longer hour, since it wouldn't affect anything, because it's a very quiet place and it only does delivery services. I know there are concerns from the environment and then the police of the nuisance, but I mean, we are prepared to even take the police's advice that we should have a security guard and then CCTV, which is prepared to do all those things. And now we also hear that there's going to be residential developments around the area, which probably will be another benefit, because since it's going to be a quiet environment and not a lot of clients who walk in. It's only during the daytime that we have occasional walk-in client. Most of the time, it's all delivery services, and that's a very quiet environment. So with this, we thought we had to apply for this application to increase its hours of service.
Thank you very much. It's the objectors to ask questions. Would you like to go first? No? PC Hunt?
Yeah, I just had one question, Chair, if I may, just springs to mind. I understand you're wanting to increase your hours. What made you come to the conclusion that 5 o'clock would be the most suitable hour? Why not 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock? I'm just trying to find out why 5 o'clock was the hour that you went for.
Based on what calls he gets after closing hours. So we decided that we open at 5 o'clock, close at 5 o'clock, and use the other hour to do the cleanup for the following shift, which is 11 o'clock.
I'm just trying to understand the hours. So what time in the morning to 11 to...
To 5, that's what we are applying for.
You're applying for, okay, all right. Thank you.
Can I just ask you, with your extended hours, where do you think is your market? Is your market from people who will actually visit you, or is it from people who will order online and be delivered?
It's basically delivery services. That's what I say. It's only occasionally during the daytime that we have walk-in clients, but it's basically delivery services. So from about 12 midnight to the morning, it's going to be delivery services.
So, sorry, just correct me. Do you close your door and nobody can walk over it? It's purely that you prepare them and dispatch them away by a driver?
Yeah, well, we prepare them and dispatch them, and then if we are granted, we're actually going to put notices on the screen that from this time to this time, it's only delivery services.
What sort of volume of business do you actually do between the hours of midnight and proposedly 5 o'clock in the morning? I mean, personally, I can't imagine who would want a pizza at 4 o'clock in the morning, but that's me, I'm asleep there.
We can't actually put a figure on that, but the number of calls we get after their closing hours actually attracted us to actually increase the hours.
Yeah. Okay. Right, I need to come to the objectors to... Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you. You mentioned you're getting calls in. So how are you sort of monitoring those calls that are coming in? Cause is it a mobile line? Because I can see there's a landline that's registered.
The landline then transfers it to the mobile phone.
Right, okay. And that's being left on, is it? And it's just
That's right, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Going to ask the question that is this during the week or weekends? Because I doubt it if people will be ordering pizza during the week. I can understand if it's the weekend, people out clubbing, partying over the weekend and coming early hours of the morning wanting to eat. But I'm trying to grasp the need, well, if there will be a demand during the week and is it necessary to have it 7 days a week?
There's been a demand for the local minicab drivers and even some of the ambulance drivers asking for the hours to be extended, yes, and even some of the residential people around the area. Yeah.
Fine, okay, so the objectors, who's going to go first? Yes, environmental.
Good morning. So the environmental protection issue of concern here is noise, contrary to the licensing objective, prevention of public nuisance. Perfect Pizza is situated in a commercial street with the residential units directly above the premises, above adjacent premises, and also with residential properties in close proximity to it. Planning consent has also been granted for other residential properties within Bachelor Street. As far as I'm aware, there are no complaints of noise from the premises on record currently. The current opening hours on their licence are Sunday to Thursday, 11 a.m. to 1 a.m. in the morning, and Friday to Saturday, 11 a.m. to 2 o'clock in the morning. This application seeks a blanket application to allow the opening hours of Monday to Sunday, 11 a.m. to 5 a.m. The proposed extended hours and the subsequent noise likely to be caused by the use of the kitchen restaurant, including the extraction system, noise from patrons visiting the premises and from their vehicles, as well as from delivery drivers at such times in the morning, is not considered acceptable due to the proximity of these residential properties. Patron noise, for example, can include raised voices, either individually or from groups of people, vehicle noise, including car engines, stereos, and slamming of doors. There is approved residential development taking place in the vicinity of the premises. Acoustic assessments undertaken to support those planning applications would not, at that time, have taken into account any additional background noise which could be generated should the proposed extension in the operating hours be granted. The result is that this is likely to be a detriment in the amenity of those residents. Consideration should also be given to the fact that the premises is situated below residential units, and measures must be put in place to minimise impact upon residents of those properties. Experience tells us that noise generated from the comings and goings of customers and their vehicles is likely to cause a public nuisance in licensing terms to local residents. This is particularly problematic the later the premises stays open. In addition, there is a rear exit to the premises which, if left open, is also likely to cause noise disturbance during unsociable hours, in addition to noise from the kitchen extraction system that would have to be in operation all the time that the premises was operating. I consider that unless adequate safeguards are in place, the application for the extension in the hours has the potential to lead to an unacceptable increase in noise and disturbance to the detriment of the amenity of residents in the locality, which is contrary to Section 5 of the licensing policy. It's necessary to strike a balance between the use of the premises as a restaurant and takeaway and also the protection of local residents from undue disturbance. I refer to the Council's Statement of Licensing Policy, Policy 7 and 12, which relates to generally acceptable opening hours of late night fast food premises and the expectation of a risk assessment operating schedule to include proposed specific measures to promote the 4 licensing objectives. Otherwise, it is likely that extended hours would be refused. Despite the applicant being aware of the Environmental Protection Team's concerns regarding the potential for public nuisance, there has been no information forthcoming to date which adequately addresses our concerns. Should the extension to the hours be granted, it was also of concern that it would set a precedent for other premises, the cumulative noise impacts of which could be significant, not only in this particular location, but also potentially other locations within Medway. As the applicant would have limited, if any, control over the management of noise from vehicles and patrons external to the premises, in addition to noise generated from the kitchen extraction system when in use, it's considered that the only viable way to adequately mitigate noise disturbance at this location would be to restrict the hours of use, and this is a restriction which is already in place under the current licence and appears to be working well. Thank you.
Thank you. PC Hunt.
Okay. Chair, if I may, just to make you aware, obviously, that my representations are always scripted. I'll say this all the time. But they are based around the application as it was submitted, not as per the proposed offer today of delivery drivers only after a certain time. That wasn't within the application. So just want you to bear that in mind as I read through my presentation, please. So currently the premises operates as a fast food takeaway premises with a licence that authorises late night refreshment Sunday to Thursday until 1 a.m. and Friday and Saturday until 2 a.m. It is fair to say that the current hours and the day-to-day management and general operation of this premises causes Kent Police little to no concern and causes few issues. If granted as applied for, this variation would allow the premises to conduct late night refreshment 7 days a week until 5 a.m. in the morning, from 11 at night till 5 a.m. in the morning. So outside of those hours, Chair, a premises licence for the sale of hot food and drink would not be required. Therefore, the premises, if they wanted to, could have the ability to provide a takeaway food service 24 hours a day, if this was to be granted. At this stage, Kent Police are opposed to the application. As you've heard from Katie, our representations relate to two of the licensing objectives, and they are the prevention of crime and disorder and prevention of public nuisance. Now, we do appreciate that currently the area surrounding the premises is not that heavily residential. There are obviously some residential properties, but in the main, the premises is surrounded by retail outlets and other businesses, and as the applicant suggested, other food takeaway premises. It is also appreciated that, as per their evidence supplied by the applicant, that there would appear to be some support for the extension of hours from nearby local residents. From some nearby local residents. However, the immediate area, as you know, is under regeneration, and new residential properties in the immediate area are in the process of being built, and with building work well underway. Now, the most obvious and noticeable building would be less than 60 yards away, a development of multi-storey flats which are being built opposite Halfords on the corner of Bachelor Street, junction with the Brook. In addition, we conducted a check on the council website which suggested planning applications being submitted in February 2022 for a 5-storey building comprising of 4 one-bedroom flats and 10 two-bedroom flats on land to the rear of 1 to 5 Bachelor Street, and a further application submitted in March of this year for the conversion of commercial premises at the rear of 4 Bachelor Street to be converted into 6 residential studio flats. There was also strong local rumour to suggest that other nearby derelict buildings, quite large buildings, such as the Gala Bingo, the Go Outdoors, and the Debenham store, and the NCP car park areas, could well be converted into residential in the future as well. It's important, therefore, that consideration be given to these potential new residents and potential new neighbours when considering this application. The application makes no reference to this and appears not to have taken that into account. So, Medway Council Statement of Licensing Policy, section 5.19, makes reference to premises opening hours and suggests that proximity to local residents and the possible disturbance of residents' rest, relaxation and sleep would be of concern to the licensing committee. It details that that effect of noise is greater at night time when the ambient noise levels are lower and people are at home relaxing or sleeping. Section 5.60 of this policy states that food and takeaway premises which are open beyond 2300 can attract customers who may have consumed alcohol in nearby pubs, bars and clubs. This could lead to crime, noise, disturbance, particularly when the premises are in residential areas. Additionally, the consumption of food and drink in the areas outside or near to the premises can often lead to things such as food waste and litter waste, which amounts to a public nuisance. Section 5.33 of the policy states that if the hours of licensable activity sought are beyond 2300 on a Sunday to Thursday, or are beyond 2 o'clock in the morning on a Friday and Saturday, the authority would expect to see the operating schedule to propose specific measures to address any concerns, and if they are not, it's likely that the extended hours would be refused. Section 5.61 of the policy suggests that issues are of particular concern in cumulative impact policy areas and stress areas. It was just to remind you, really, Chair, that this premises is located within the Chatham High Street SIP. Section 5.63 of the Statement of Licensing Policy suggests that general late-night fast food takeaway restaurants will be expected to operate until midnight on a Sunday to Thursday and until 2 a.m. on Friday to Saturday. I do appreciate that they are just guidelines, Chair, but the current premises licence already exceeds those suggested hours in that the premises is open till 1 o'clock Sunday, is currently open till 1 o'clock Sunday to Thursday. At this stage, we do not feel the applicant has provided and demonstrated within their application sufficient steps and measures on their operating schedule that would reduce the risk that comes with operating through the night into the very early hours. Rochester High Street, with many of its late night opening venues, clubs and bars, is only a short drive or indeed a short walk away. The additional hours at this premises are likely to be an attractant to persons leaving those premises in Rochester, where they may wish to come to Chatham to purchase food on their way home. Many of these potential new customers are likely to have consumed alcohol, and some of which, it's fair to say, could be heavily intoxicated, could perhaps be drunk. Now, the dynamics of a premises can completely change when alcohol and intoxication are thrown into the mix. Issues such as noise, nuisance, public order, fighting, assaults and criminal damages are just some of the issues that can arise at late night takeaway venues. Whilst it is fair to say that Chatham does not have perhaps such a vibrant nighttime economy as Rochester, I just wanted to let you know, Chair, that there is a nightclub located in Chatham on Railway Street, just a very short walk away from this premises. That nightclub is the Tap and Tin, and that's currently licensed to operate daily until 4:30 in the morning, although it does only open currently Friday, Saturdays and Mondays. It is highly likely that should this premises be granted the additional hours requested, it would probably attract customers from this nearby nightclub. Many of whom, again, could be intoxicated or drunk. Being located near to a couple of pubs on the high street that have a slightly earlier closing time than the premises currently does, we do appreciate that the premises may already have some experience in dealing with drunk and intoxicated customers. However, I firmly of the opinion that if the premises were to open later, it would attract greater numbers. It would attract perhaps a different customer clientele or dynamic to which they currently have, with increased intoxication levels, thus increasing the risk of possible incident and possible disturbance to those new residents. Section 5.66 of the Statement of Licensing Policy states that when considering applications for this premises type, the authority will consider the likelihood of crime and public nuisance from activities late at night, particularly if the premises are in a residential area or on a route away from late night licensed premises or close to late night licensed premises. Section 5.67 of the licensing policy states that the licensing authority will expect an application and the operating schedule to include proposed specific measures to mitigate any risks or concerns. If they are not proposed, it is likely that the extended hours would be refused and that the authority will consider restricting the hours of the operation of the premises to ensure closure before pubs and clubs in the area, so that it doesn't become a focal point for nuisance and disturbance. As suggested again by Katie, it's our understanding that the premises have not applied for a change in their planning permission, and that the planning permission permitted hours mirror those on the current licence. If the extended licence was to be approved and this premises was to operate to the newly extended hours, they could be doing so illegally and operating in breach of planning permission. I appreciate that is a lot, Chair, and I just wanted to sort of finish by saying, in an effort to be both balanced and fair, as things stand, this is far from being a problem premises. It isn't a premises that currently is of concern to Kent Police. That said, our concerns regarding the additional hours and the increased risk for crime and disorder and possible disturbance to residents in what would appear to be an upcoming residential area, they are genuine concerns, Chair. The current operating schedule and the proposed conditions to mitigate these risks is lacking and makes Kent Police fearful that the premises may fall short in their ability to fully promote the objectives. We would ask that the panel please consider supporting the statement of licensing policies and ask that the panel refuse this variation. Should, however, the panel be of a different mindset, we do understand, but could I please request the consideration of the additional licence conditions that we set out within our original representations? They would go some way to alleviating our concerns regarding crime and disorder and the disturbance to residents. And just one further condition, Chair, that I've thought of since we sat here, and that is in relation to the proposal that they become a delivery service only after a certain time. Could we please consider a condition that says that from the outside, that premises would appear to be closed? That would then perhaps potentially put off customers arriving and trying to get in and trying to break the premises rules. But that's my presentation, Chair, and I'll open it for any questions you have.
Thank you, PC Hunt. Have you questions for either environmental protection or the police on what you've heard?
The police officer. Currently, we operate from 11 to 2 o'clock, which is also in the wee hours of the morning. And ever since it's been there, there's never been any disturbance or whatnot. And most of the clients will know that this is a delivery service. You understand? As to the drunkards coming in, once they get used to the fact that this is a delivery service, I don't think it will be our problem. And like you advise in your thing, we're actually going to have a security man and CCTV cameras all over the places. And with the potential residents coming in, it could be another benefit to them, for them to know that there's a service there. It's not going to be only negative, for them to know that there's a service there should they need it. And let's not forget that Chatham High Street and Bachelor Street is predominantly
you currently, what you said currently, that it is open between 11 and 2 a.m. in the morning. Have you had any complaints from any of the residents or businesses in the surrounding area? Or perhaps for me to pose the question to the officer, have you had any police call emergency since they've opened between 11 and 2? Has there been any incident whatsoever? Thank you.
Apologies. I don't know the exact answer to that question in the sense of I don't want to lie. We may have had calls, we may not. I don't know the figures. But what I can say with some confidence is ordinarily when we come to review hearings such as this, we will often come with concerns that already exist about our premises. We don't have those concerns. The current setup and operation of the premises until 1 a.m. on a Thursday, and 2 a.m. until the weekend, doesn't cause Kent Police any issues and doesn't cause Kent Police any concerns. But I couldn't give you an accurate figure as regards to call numbers and stuff.
I'm just concerned if any residents have any issue, because then that has to be paramount here, in our decision making. If we've had any complaints from any of the residents in the area, that would be good to know too. Yeah, thank you.
well, at the moment, there's no complaint. If actually the residents are giving their support to that hours, you understand, which we put it in the application to them.
Thanks, Chair. Yeah, can I just go back to checking the times that you were stating about delivery only? Was that the entire extended hours that you were applying for?
I mean, like I said, it's mainly delivery hours with the occasional walk-in clients. But then what we have to do is to put it on this screen that this is delivery only from maybe 12 a.m. to 5 a.m. so that they are aware of what we do, not to accept walk-in clients anymore.
So is that what you're proposing today? You're saying that you would only have delivery-only service from a certain time?
That's what we're trying to say, because they already know it's delivery service, like I said, with occasional walk-ins. But then if we have to emphasize on what we do, then we have to put posters there, it's only delivery service.
Yeah, it's only because I sort of just want to know how you would sort of cope with, you know, if that was what you were proposing from sort of 12 o'clock or 1, how would you cope with people that are going to be sort of at 3, 4 in the morning coming from tap and tin? How would you cope with those people that turn up at your premises, you know, demanding to buy pizza?
Yeah, I mean, the doors will be constantly shut with a security guard throughout the day, so nobody will be allowed in there.
But then they'll be on the street, potentially intoxicated, potentially making a lot of noise because they're hungry. I'm just wondering how you would deal with those sort of customers.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I'm also saying. Already we're operating from till 1 and 2, and we haven't had that experience. So I'm not actually in the position to say if from 2 to 5 there will be people coming in with that. Because since 2016, we've never had that experience, even though we finished that late, 2 a.m.
But, sorry if I'm misunderstanding, but at the moment, people can walk in, can't they, to buy?
Only during the daytime,
So at what time do you stop having people coming in to the shop?
from about 12,
From 12?
Yeah.
Every day?
every day.
Okay, thank you.
So just to be clear, because I think, like my colleague, the licence that you have gives the impression that you are operating until 2 o'clock on some mornings. So are you actually stating that you actually physically close your premises at midnight and after that it becomes a home delivery service?
Yes, we physically close it with us. We'll have a security guide to there. But normally, even during the daytime, it's closed till the occasional walk-in because most of the times it's only deliveries that we do with the occasional one. So it's not that with the predominant, our clients are all delivery services only.
So are you actually applying for a home delivery service, or are you applying to actually open the doors of your premises?
We are applying for a home delivery services.
Have you any more questions? Have you any more questions? Is there anything that you would like to add?
Ma'am. No, ma'am. No.
Can I ask you, in the light of what has just been said, have you anything to add?
It's just, you know, as we've moved along to just try and give you some of our concerns. If we do move to a home delivery system, nonetheless, we've got the operation of the kitchen, we've got the ventilation system still moving, we've got the potential noise from delivery drivers, and with the best will in the world, that's going to be a substantive concern. We've also got, if I've understood it correctly, advertising material in the front of the shop telling people how they can come and make orders at the site. The potential consequence with people asking for pizzas to be delivered in the street that we've not bottomed out, and all of this in an environment where we're going to see more and more residential property. So as a result of the application and the comments that have been made, I am a little confused about what the proposals are, and we also still have substantive concerns about the operation as a whole.
Thank you. Can I ask you then, please, if you'd like to leave while the panel consider what they've heard? Thank you. Thank you very much for waiting. Obviously, the amount of time you've been waiting, you can understand that my colleagues and I have looked at various options here to see if there were ways in which we could grant the licence. We have given very strong consideration to that possibility. However, it is our decision that we cannot grant the licence as applied for, and that is based upon a couple of major issues. One is the objection from Environmental Protection regarding the nuisance which could be created from the use of the kitchen late into the night, and the noise and disturbance that that would make in itself, along with the use of the extraction, which must create greater noise as you get further into the night and the ambient noise elsewhere drops. We were also concerned in relation to the representation by by PC Hunt in regard to the possibility of, if the lights are on in the premises, that people coming from other venues at that time of night could expect to gain access, which admittedly you say that they would not do so, but that could lead to noise and disturbance outside. It could lead to bad behaviour, and unfortunately, as applicants, you've not been able to demonstrate to us that you could deal with either those noise issues or those issues of public behaviour outside of the premises. And for those reasons, we are not able to grant the licence. These reasons will be given to you probably in further detail in writing within the next 10 working days, and you do have an option of appealing the decision that we've made this morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. That concludes the business.